Welcome back to my channel, All Things Logic. I'm Jeremy Haas. Today, I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to be recording a bass track. I'm going to be comping it using take folders to get the best take of each take. Anyways, I'm going to show you what my process is, and also I'm going to show you guys how I copy and paste certain parts that I'm repeating, so I just get an even performance, and then join all the regions. And then in the next couple of videos after that, I'll show you guys how I go about putting different plugins on it, how I make a sub bass track, a grit track, and just show you how I just keep putting together a bass part to just make it big and heavy. Anyways, let's get started. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm in Logic Pro, and I'm getting ready to track DI bass guitar. And so I like to go through Microline here because I like to add my own plugins onto it. But we're not going after sound today. That will be in the next video. We'll create our awesome heavy grit bass sound. But right now we're just tracking the DI bass guitar. But if you're new to Logic or Logic and new to guitar or bass, you don't know exactly how to add your own plugins yet, you can go to this area and click on guitar bass, hit create, and then you can go. It always starts off their preset sounds basically, so they already come with all the plugins ready for you. But it always starts off with guitar, so you got to go over to your electric guitar or bass area and pick either clean and pick one of these sounds here, or crunch bass. It's got a little distortion on it, that kind of stuff. Okay, but I'm not doing that today. I am going to, let me right click here and delete this. I'm going to just use Microline and add my own plugins on. Okay, and so this is your input again. So input 1 is what I'm going through with my bass guitar, straight into my audio interface. Or if you're going to input 2 or a different input, you can change it here. Okay, so I'm gonna hit create. All right, there we go. So and what I like to do is I like to right click on this, and I like to go down, and I like to right away change it to a color, because I like to color code all my tracks. I personally like this color for a bass guitar, and then I like to give it an icon that I like. So I right click on this little waveform, and I go to bass, and I grab me a bass guitar. That makes me think of bass guitar basically. And then I right click over where it says audio 1, and I go down and rename this, and I'm going to call this bass DI for now. Okay, and I'm gonna, okay, there we go. So now we're set, and next thing I'm gonna do is I like to set my cycle. This is called the cycle. You just click on here, and I like to set the cycle. I don't like to start on 1. I usually start on 2 or 3 because I leave some headroom in the beginning. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it will later. And so the cycle, I like this to however long I think the song is going to be, or I'm not the song. I'm actually doing just pieces of the track at it. So we're not trying to get the whole take in one take. Okay, the whole track, bass track, the whole song for the bass part. We're just trying to do it in pieces, okay? Because it's just, you're not going to get it. It's just, yeah. So and what I like to do is I'll repeat, like say I'm doing the intro here. I like to do the intro, and I'll repeat the part I'm doing over and over again by setting the cycle. So, but before we do this, we need to do one thing, or a couple things actually. I'm going to add my own plugins on. So I always go down, and before I add any plugins or any sound, I like to go and grab a metering. I like to grab a level meter, mono. Okay, so this is super important. This is one of the most important things you're going to do when you're tracking audio tracks. Okay, is you're going to set you want to make sure that you're not peaking with your audio interface, so you want to set your level decent on there. And the way I do this is I'll plug in my bass, of course, into my audio interface, and I'll turn up that signal, okay? And I'll turn it up, and I'll play the bass as I'm turning it up, or guitar, until it hits that red on your signal, and then I'll turn it down from there where it doesn't touch that red at all. That's usually a good place to start at. But then what I'll do is I'll use this level meter here, goddamn bugs, and I'll hit record, and I'll play it a little bit, and I'll play it back to see if I'm peaking past. You want to get it somewhere in between -12 and -6. You don't want to go past -6. You want to leave yourself headroom for all your plugins and for mixing later. Okay, so I'll hit record first. That's about how hard I'm going to play it. That's the intro I'm playing. So then I'm going to play it back real quick, and you're going to see this area. That's right where I want to be. in between -12 and -6. Okay, so that's probably hardest. You want to do this however you're going to be playing your song, how hard you're going to be hitting your bass. Make sure you do it. You record it correctly and get the right levels, so you know that it's going to be like that through the rest of your song, hopefully. Okay, so now I'm going to hit Command Z, get rid of that piece I just did, and I'm going to set this a little bit longer just in case I play a little longer. But usually I like to set it just for the length I'm playing, and then it'll repeat, and then I'll keep playing another take, create these take folders, which I'm going to show you right now what I'm talking about. And this is just DI. I could add plugins right now if I wanted to give it a cool sound. I can do that, but I'm not worried about that so much. But you can go down here and grab an amp sim if you'd like, a bass amp sim, and grab and put that on there for for color, for sound. But I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about tracking right now. Okay, now it's different if you're using distortion or on your guitars or something like that. And you're using amp sim, you want to hear it so you can play your guitar right. Even with bass, sometimes it's a good idea to do that. But for now, I'm not too worried about it. I already know how to play a song pretty well, so I can just do it with a clean DI. It's not pretty sounding. It's not supposed to be. We'll add the amp sims on it, get that grit. We'll add a sub bass, all that stuff, a clean bass, all that to build that bass sound in our next video. This is just tracking, okay? So let me hit record. I'm gonna start recording. Actually, I'm gonna put that right at 2. And I'm gonna come in on 3. Okay, so that's about how long I want to do. Since I'm repeating the same thing twice, I really only need to repeat that once. So I'm actually going to shorten this and just do it one time, and then I'll copy and paste. I'll show you what I'm talking about, so you don't have to waste so much time repeating this. If you're going to just keep playing the same parts over and over again with your guitar bass, I'm going to show you what to do to shorten that time, so you have to keep doing the whole song that way. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it this short from now on. Okay, so let's do this again. Oops, totally messed that up. Okay, I think that's enough. I'm not going to keep doing this. Okay, so these are your take folders. It automatically creates these for you. Now let me do this real quick. All right. Okay, cool. So we know our levels are good. I can get rid of this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and pick our favorite parts of each take, and then we're gonna and wherever you look at this, quick swipe comping, I believe it's called. And so you could pick you like the first part of this take, but this part. Let me show you what I mean. This part sounds better. Let's listen to actually one take real quick. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. Bam. Okay, that's the first take is at the bottom, and it goes second, third, fourth. Okay. So I do like the first one mostly, but a lot of times I don't. Honestly, I'll be picking little pieces, but that's what you can. Let me see this last one right here, and let me see the first part of take 1. And that's pretty cool. I like that. That's pretty good. Okay, so it's just where you quick swipe these. When you're going from this take to this take, you want to make sure it's right after the strike with your pick. Okay, so and you kind of see that it comps both any takes you got comping out here. It puts it all in one up here. Okay, so you kind of look at this area up here and make sure that it's not like making this really ugly. You want to listen to it as you're doing this too. Don't just do it by vision. Okay, and so another thing I want to show you real quick is if you're doing this or following along or later on or trying to do this, and for some reason it's not working for you, like this swipe isn't working for you, or this little crossfade that it does for you, so there's no click there, or so a weird sound there when it changes tracks or takes, I should say. That's you're gonna have to fix this in your settings. I'm gonna show you right now. And so I'm going to take you up to here, and we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go to general, okay? And for later on, for doing the crossfade in different areas too, I'm going to show you how to fix that right now, so you don't have to go to your fade, go to the fade tool here and change back and forth between your marquee tool or pointer tool. Okay, so we're going to go to editing, and you're going to click on fade tool click zones and quick swipe and take editing click zones. Click on those. Just good to have those on for later. And then to make sure that this is that this shows up on your take folders, go to audio, go to editing, and then we're going to make sure that we want this to say about 5 milliseconds is a good area. And crossfade curve, keep a 0. Okay, so we're golden there. That's where I like mine about, and we're gold. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to close this right here. This is how you close and flatten this, so you don't have all this junk sitting there. You click on this twice, and it closes that folder for you, okay? And then to flatten that so it stays, we can slice this up and do editing to this take or track. You can go to this little A, click on that, left click, and go down to flatten and merge, and that will flatten and merge. Now it's just one. Now if you click on it, nothing happens. That's just it flatten and merged them all together. That first take and the part of the second, and that fourth take it put together. Okay, so check it out. For playback, I'm going to go throw an amp sim on there so we can kind of hear something cool. So I'm going to go to amps. I got a lot of bugs coming in my window right now due to this light. Gnarly. Anyways, okay, cool. So I usually like to go to I start off with a default and go to classic, and then I change this a little bit around. Let's listen to that real quick. Pretty gnarly. Okay, I'll EQ it and all that stuff later. I don't want to sit here. At least we get the idea. There's what it's going to sound like with the amp sim, but we've got a lot more to do with it than just that later on. Okay, so we got this done. So now this part of the song repeats. The intro repeats several times, like 4 times. So I'm going to need to actually go, and instead of sitting there and recording it, trying to get the whole thing, you can do that. But I prefer to go like this. Watch. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and either use my marquee tool, or so I can show you what's going on here, as I'm going to, or Command T, or split the region at playhead. And then I'm going to right click on here, and I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need this piece. Okay, where does it end? Right there. Okay, right here. Okay, so I'm going to right click on here and split regions at playhead, right click again on the region where it's lit up, and I'm going to cut that. Okay, I'm also going to go right here and do the same thing, right click, go split region, and I'm not going to get rid of this because I need that beginning later, or I can bring it back in a second. You'll see what I'll go ahead and get rid of it. Hit click. Now it's gone. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to right click on this again, and I'm going to hit copy or Command C on your keyboard. I'll hit this if I do that too much with the keyboard. I need to get my boom arm back. I'm going to keep bumping that microphone. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, since I copied that, I'm going to hit Command V, or you can right click on this area right here and hit paste. Now paste it, okay? And then I'll do that another time, and then another time. That should be my intro that I need, because it goes like 4 times like that, I believe. Okay, let me shorten this out. Okay, so now we got to make sure that these transitions between these two will work, okay? So let me go back here, and I still want the beginning of this. Let me write this up, and let me do this. Let me get rid of this area too. There we go. It gives us some. I'm gonna bring that back because we don't want it cutting off that start there. Okay, so now let's see if this is decent. Let me turn on this. Let me see. Oops. See if this transition is okay, and that'll mean the rest of them are okay. But I'm gonna show you how I fix this. Okay, but so we don't hear a click. Let me turn off metronome. We don't hear a click or anything, but sometimes there is, and this is I'm going to show you what I'm going to do right now. Okay, check this out. You can either grab this piece and pull it over a little bit, and it'll give you naturally put a fade, crossfade there, an X fade there. And so check this out again. It still sounded fine before, but sometimes there'll be a click or a weird, and you can pull that and put it over itself, and it'll make sure that there's no weird transition there. But since I don't need to do that because it transitions just fine, let me hit Command V on my, bring it back to that. Check this out. Okay, it does have a weird transition actually. Never mind, I take that back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I like that. I like how I like how this sounded like this. Just sounds a little bit better for some reason to me. Okay, so I am going to bring this back again by hitting Command Z, and I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it on all these because they're all going to sound the way I didn't want them. Okay, so I'm going to hit Shift and click, hold down Shift and click on these, and it's going to light those three up. And now check this out. It did it to all of them, okay? We're gold on all of them, okay? Pretty cool, huh? All right, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like it, hit the subscribe button. That'd be awesome. I could use the love. Leave some comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Is there anything else that I could help you with that you're having trouble with in Logic Pro? All right, guys, I'm Jeremy Haas. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That leaves it wide open. See you guys.